I called out my parents for not loving me. Growing up, I always felt like the odd one out in my family. My siblings seemed to have this unbreakable bond with our parents, while I struggled to connect. They had their inside jokes, shared interests, and moments of warmth that left me feeling invisible and alone. For years, I bottled up my feelings, trying to convince myself it didn't matter. I focused on my studies and friendships, but that ache of inadequacy never fully went away. I felt like I was always searching for their approval, but never quite measuring up. Everything came to a head during a family gathering. There was laughter, stories being shared, and I sat on the sidelines, feeling more like a spectator than a participant. Finally, I couldn't hold it any longer. I stood up and called out my parents in front of everyone. "You don't love me the way you love them," I shouted, my voice shaking with anger and hurt. The room fell silent, and I felt the weight of their shock. Their expressions were a mix of confusion and hurt, and for a moment, I thought I had crossed a line I couldn't come back from. But as I continued, I poured out years of pain, explaining how I felt overlooked and unloved. I spoke about the moments that had cut deep, the times I felt like a burden rather than a beloved child. In that moment, it felt freeing to finally voice my truth, but it was also terrifying. To my surprise, my parents listened. They didn't respond with anger. Instead, there were tears. They had no idea how I felt, and as we talked, I realized they had their own struggles that affected their parenting. It wasn't a magical resolution, but that conversation opened a door. It was the first step toward healing for all of us.